Hi there again, everyone. Ooh, sorry about the loud noise there. Hello again, everyone, and thank you for joining me for yet another whiskey review. Today's review is another Canadian whiskey. As you probably know at this point, if you've watched many of my reviews, that is actually one of my favorite subcategories in that whiskey genre for a variety of reasons. I tend to like the rye influence. I don't mind a blend. And I enjoy a smooth whiskey from time to time. So today's choice is small batch Spicebox imported spiced whiskey. Now, the first thing that jumped out at me is the fact that it's a spiced whiskey. Typically, you hear spiced used when describing rum. Spiced whiskey is something that I personally, at least to my knowledge, have yet to experience. So this will be a first for me. As you know, I do like to try whiskeys and spirits with you guys for the first time, and today is yet another example of that. This will be the first time I've given this guy a shot, so we shall see. Let's start straight up with the bottle. As you can see, they did a really cool job, and I'll tell you the story here in a minute, of keeping it kind of period friendly. So what they did was, they did a batch number up there. Nice little old-fashioned, get a better view of it. So old-fashioned small batch number there. And then a lot number right there. I thought that was kind of cool. And just your font and the paper they used. Very nice. So yeah, I mentioned there's a story. Here it is. So apparently the name was inspired by, there were some bootleggers in Canada that were importing whiskey to the States, which was a big business for Canadians, especially near the border there for many, many years. These guys specifically are from Montreal, Canada, Quebec. And they used to label boxes of their whiskey as spice. So, Spicebox, there you go, got its name. Apparently, I guess at one point, one of their boxes fell off the truck, whiskey broke, and their smuggling days were over. So that's the story on Spicebox. So yeah, it's a spiced whiskey. Again, I don't know really what the heck to expect. You know, the description says it's complemented with the hints of vanilla, notes of pepper, dried spices, exceptionally smooth blend. It is a rye, which is kind of captures that pure essence of a Canadian whiskey. That's really that, you know, I always tell people when I talk whiskey, you know, whiskey is sometimes corn or wheat or rye. It really just depends on what was abundant in that part of the world when the production of whiskey began. And in Canada, rye was abundant and cheap, and they started making whiskey with it. So, with no further ado, let's give this a shot. Again, this is kind of a fun one for me because I truly don't know what to expect, so I don't have any expectation on if this is something I'm going to like or dislike. The good news is it was a relatively small investment, so not a huge financial loss for me if it's something I'm not a fan of. So I think it was $20, something like that. We do have a just a little metal cap, twist-off cap, which indicates, you know, a spirit at this price point. I don't know why I always do that. I always try to pour it and then smell it, but I can't resist. I always smell it right out of the bottle. So let's give this a pour. Love that sound. Oh, one thing I did want to mention, and this really turned me off, but with the price point being what it was, and it's kind of the uniqueness kind of outweighed my concern, but it does mention caramel color, and that's not something I'm typically looking for. Especially right there in big print. I mean, they're almost advertising that it's, you know, caramel colored. To me, I mean, that's what makes spirits fun, is that they're getting their personality and their color, you know, from their barrels. This one admits, at least, that they're adding a color. So, on the nose, wow. Abundance of vanilla on the nose. Not getting much pepper. I am getting some dry fruits. And you know what? I shouldn't even read these bottles because I feel like I'm being influenced by what they're telling me to smell or to taste. And again, I don't know if it's because I know this is a spiced product. It smells very much like a spiced rum. Almost, man, hate to keep throwing stuff at you, but it almost tastes, or smells, I should say, like vanilla vodka. Yeah, to me, and again, you know me, guys. We talk about, you know, very high-end, pristine, traditional whiskeys, and we've also delved into some, you know, some hybrids and some artificially flavored things. And I try not to be snobby. There are very good products that are artificially flavored or cheaper or whatever. But I preface my statement by that because I was about to say it tastes artificial, or it smells artificial. Sorry. But to me, that's not always bad. It can be a good blend of artificial. And on the nose, I think it's very pleasant. So without further ado, let's give this a taste. Woo. As much, oh, by the way, 40% ABV, 80 proof. As much vanilla that I got on the nose, I got that and tenfold on the finish and the taste. The mouth taste, when I swish it, like taste on the cheeks, it is overwhelmingly sweet. Many of you probably will be turned off by that. I don't mind it as much. I have a bit of a sweet tooth. Loads of vanilla, little cinnamon, maybe even a little honey. I would say the mouth is very honey. Just a taste of maybe a licorice, black licorice. Not red, not Twizzlers. A little bit of black licorice. Pleasant. Yeah, you know, a purist, you know, a master blender, a distiller, maybe wouldn't respect this as much as I do, for instance. I'm pleasantly surprised for the price point that I got this stuff at, and with the description being what it was. I really, again, didn't have any notions of what this would be like. Now, if you don't like vanillas, you don't like rum, spiced rum specifically, you may not like this. Don't buy this if you're thinking whiskey. To me, it's whiskey in name only. To me, it's almost like a neutral vanilla spirit with a bit of whiskey and more rum. To me, it's more rum. To me, if you put a label on this that said spiced rum, that I would believe over a spiced whiskey, whatever the heck that is. But again, doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean it's not enjoyable. Let me give this one more taste. If you are new into spirits, whiskey, rum, vodkas, tequilas, gins, you name it, probably something I would pick up. Completely agreeable. Not harsh in any way, not bitter in any way. You're not going to get a bourbon burn in any way. Very, very pleasant, very enjoyable. Not overly complex, but again, nothing wrong with that. I refuse to be one of those snobs. But you know what? Scale-wise, I'm going to go ahead and give that a... I'll go 6.5. 6.5 out of 10. And I'm thinking about 7. Let's go 7. What the hell? Let's go 7. Yeah, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I would say, again, if you're kind of looking for what I mentioned, go ahead and pick up a bottle. All right, guys, thank you very much. Again, we will be covering rums here shortly, and many of them, because there are several here in the basement bar that I've yet to try. So until next time, glasses up, and thanks for watching. Subscribe.